Welcome to Final Expense Telesales. My name is Dana Neeson. Thank you so much for being here today. I am bringing an interview, one of our agents that's now been with Tailored Legacy for 5 months. Welcome, Terry.
Hello. Hi, Dana.
Hi,
Happy to
thank
be
you
here.
for agreeing to come on today.
Of
I
course.
don't do as much interviews as I think I should, but I do think it's important for people to hear from a variety of people on the team about their experiences. And the last person that I interviewed came from Assurance. When Assurance shut down, we had Lisa on. And you also came from Assurance. You were like the
Yes.
OG Assurance person that came
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I feel like I was quite
But
quite a quite a preparation for here. So I'm grateful for that. That was
that's
my boot camp to come here.
the boot camp. So let's go even further back from Assurance. How long have you had your life insurance license for? What have you seen in the industry just that you can share with agents? How did you end up at Assurance? And then we all
Okay.
know Assurance closed their doors. And then how did you make your way here? So take a few minutes and
Yeah.
catch us up.
So basically, I got a license back in 2002,
Okay.
and I didn't know a thing. I just know my real estate business was over. I had made a move to a new state, and I haven't got a clue how life insurance came into the place of my life like it did. And I did a lot of different kinds of sales back then. I really wasn't sure how to get to work. So I just knew you had to buy leads and get busy. And I ran into a couple of really difficult people along the way,
Mhm.
um, that I did not learn anything from. I ultimately ended up buying leads and getting into that whole atmosphere of you're a lone ranger and it's up to you. It's your own business. Very little training, I mean, almost none,
Yeah.
um, because we had so many carriers. And so you'd have to become almost an underwriter to sell a policy because you'd have to be able to identify that stuff. And if you're a new agent, that is really tough. Um, you kind of hear these words like, I have this disease or this illness, or I had a heart attack, and you're like, oh no, now what? So there was a lot more to it than I'm doing with you. I mean, this is so much smoother and a better product, way better. Um, it's been an experience staying in insurance. This is
Hmm.
a tough business if you don't make a really hard line commitment because people want to run away because it gets challenging. You know,
Yeah.
it just gets so challenging. So I've been in the insurance industry really for the last probably 10 years, really full time.
Okay. And how
Yeah.
long were you at Assurance for? And like, so you made your transition over there because you wanted to find something where you didn't have to buy leads. Is that kind of what made
You
you go?
know, that's a great question. I was really not only tired of the lead spend, I was tired of being so alone and not really feeling like, I had the kind of community around me or the kind of business people, like-minded. I mean, you have your couple of friends, but not like we have, and even not like Assurance was, where you've got your manager kind of overseeing you.
Mhm.
They're watching your numbers, so you're getting a lot more accountability, which is what is the big wake-up call in this business.
Yeah.
Is your
Yeah.
numbers. You don't really track them like this when you're in a different situation where you're paying for leads. You don't really, I did not. Let me not say everybody does that, but
Okay.
I really wasn't watching how many dials I was making, what was the ROI, all that kind of thing.
So how
Um,
long were you at Assurance for?
2.5,
Okay.
about
So
two and
two
a
and
half.
a half, you woke up one morning and they said party's over.
Yes, they sure did. Right in the middle of the day, the phones
Yeah.
died.
That's what I heard. I mean, the stories I've heard from that are crazy. I think people still have PTSD from that. Like someone I heard was like in underwriting, like taking a
Yeah,
banking information and that was it.
it was
They,
over.
they cut the cord.
It was
And
wild.
so how did you find Tailored Legacy? Where was
Such a
it?
great story. I love this. Well, let me
I
tell
don't know if
you,
I even know it.
it takes you faith in God. I'm just going to say,
Okay.
because if you don't have it at that moment, you are a freaking out human being.
Right.
I literally calmed myself down because this had become my world. I mean, this was my income,
Yeah.
my one income. I wasn't piddling around with other stuff. And you just sit there for a minute and go, okay, this is going to be a great day because I have a purpose in life. And obviously, there's something else that God has on my path because you can't end up just totally jobless and like that in a moment without there being something else. I trusted that process. That's probably the first time. I've been fired a few times in my life. We won't get into that.
Okay.
But those firings were great too because they opened doors. You know, they just opened doors and opened doors. And I felt like when that happened, Assurance was phenomenal in helping us. Like I've never seen anything like it. They
Wow.
set up interviews, they like places to go on, watch Zooms, you know, call, you know, these people, talk to them. There was just offer after offer. So
Mhm.
it took me about 2 months. And then Adam Hale, who is to me, I could just go on. I love this man. I don't even never met him, but I've talked to him numerous times. How personable, how wonderful, how beautiful human being.
Yeah.
And you too, Dana, honestly. You guys are just, you know, I'm committed to this company because you guys have been so committed to us and you can see it in the communication. You're so forthcoming, you know, about what's going on and why, and here's what we're doing. And when I saw Adam, what is so funny is he said, but don't come unless you're ready to work 50 to 60 hours. And I hung up the Zoom. Oh no, not doing
Yeah. Yeah.
that. I did. And I am just blown away that I did go back and watch it again because everything else I looked at, Dana, was so more of the same, more of the
Mm.
same. And we're in a climate, we're in a time, there's so much change. I don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Nothing is staying the same. And COVID convinced me that I need to be remote.
Right.
I need to be remote because not only am I saving a fortune in gas, I went from a gas bill when gas was cheap. I
Yeah.
went from a gas bill of 500 a month to zero, zero.
Right. Right.
Seriously. Now just calculate that into your earnings too. So that's phenomenal. So being remote, talking to Adam, hearing his beautiful vision, you know, of why he is committed to this company and created it and how
Mhm.
you two came together,
Mhm.
I became an advocate for you. So I was all over the Assurance page saying, you know, come take a look, come take a look. And I must have had, I would have to say at least 12, 15 people who reached out to me because I gave, you know, my experience
Yeah.
because I knew they were where I was. I mean, I was not earning anything for 2 months.
Wow.
I just went completely like, I have to just be still. I can't rush. I can't just go do something to be doing something. Like,
Right.
I didn't care what it took. So I did my research. I looked, you know, looked you guys, Dana, I had been watching you on YouTube for a year before I even was out of work.
It's so funny. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. And I would be watching you and I'd be going, see, this girl can teach me some stuff because when you're an agent, you get very confident that you're good and
Mhm.
you're not. You're okay if you're not making, and I'm that person, if you're not making at least six figures a
Yeah.
year in this day and age, you got a lot to learn.
Right.
You really do. I hate to say it, but you're not and people are diddling around and they're not taking it serious enough. I was that girl. I can say that. We treated it like a part-time hobby. You know, I feel like getting on. I don't feel like getting on. And I've talked to Assurance people who say they wish they had taken more advantage of what we had had.
Oh,
And they
interesting.
didn't. So they're doing it here. The people I know that came over
Came over. Okay.
in the time.
So fast forward, you're here now.
Yes.
You dipped your toe in the agent and training program. We for context, we
Yes,
told a lot of the assurance agents that if they had really good skills and work ethic coming into here, that they really wouldn't need to go through the whole agent and training program that we do
right.
require pretty much 99% of people to start with. So you dipped your toe at first, asked for a little bit of help and support, and your first week you sold 7,300 AP nine policies.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Earned your first bonus that week. And, every week since, you've been averaging about 5,000 a week of AP.
Yeah.
Sometimes you shoot back up to that 9,000, 10,000 again. And sometimes you don't have as good of weeks, but on average, you're pretty
Yeah.
steady. And I think the weeks that you do have the most amount of AP ironically happen to be the weeks where you also put in the most amount of time.
Go figure. Give me a job out here that isn't based on how much you show up. That's the other part of this. People need to get their head straight. You
Right.
can't make money if you don't go to work.
Right.
It's just, I mean, it's not magic.
Through the good and the bad,
Through the
right?
good and the bad, you just
Through the
keep
good and the
going. And
bad, you
even
got to
in,
keep going.
yeah, there's weeks. I mean, we're independent contractors, obviously, but sometimes it's, you don't feel well. Sometimes it's something with your children. Sometimes, it's these different things. But this is why we chose this field. A lot of it is so that we can be active participants in our life
Right.
and not have to get permission. Thank you, Jesus. I don't have to call you up and say, hey, I'm taking lunch. I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Right. So the people that are watching this are, voyeurs of what we're doing. And should I
Yeah.
join Dana? Should I
Yes.
join this company? Should I join that company?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about like the culture. What do you
Yeah.
like
I
about
love it.
being on this team? And then we'll even talk about maybe some of the things that you wish were different or that were better. So we can play devil's advocate to both sides of the coin.
Sure.
So what do you like about it? Like what keeps you here? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you showing up?
One of the most valuable things to me is the leadership. I'm a big proponent of following leaders, to have a mentor, to have somebody that is watching and there for you if you have a struggle or a challenge. And again, you, Melissa Sanders, Melissa Vandenberg, and Manny, I don't know your last name. I think it's Manny.
And Chris, don't forget about Chris.
And Chris Murphy.
She's
You just
listing
joined
all
it.
of our managers
Yes,
right
all
now.
these managers.
If you don't know.
You don't have to go to them on the regular, but to know that you can watch what they're doing and we have training with you. I mean, honestly, one of the first reasons I wanted to come here was I heard it was you and I heard you had done Jeremy Miner's training.
Yeah.
I'd been following him too. I just signed up for something of his this morning because
Nice.
you have to keep learning. And I got to a point where I wasn't really.
Mhm.
But when I came here, we learn daily if we want to. We can go through teaching classes with you. I mean, just getting on Zoom with you. That's the main reason. Other reason, yes, I don't want to have a lead cost because I just learned the hard way.
Right.
It puts too much pressure. And I mentioned to you earlier, when you've got a lead spend, you've got a cost of running your business that's different than this business that we're in.
Right.
And when you have a lead cost, what are you doing? You have to have an ROI on that money. You have to get a return. And it's as calm as you can be. The insurance companies that want to bring you on and recruit you, they lead with lead cost. The first thing you'll hear out of them is you've got to be ready to spend, 5,000 a week in leads. I mean, I'm not kidding, 1,000 a week. It just depends. They know who they're talking to. But when you've got a lead cost, it just creates fear and it puts your focus on the sale and getting that return.
Mhm.
Instead of on, like I said to you earlier, the humanity of what we do. We are talking to people all day about death.
Yeah.
You got to keep your heart right and you've got to be able to be listening. And you've taught me so much. I told you that, I think yesterday, day before. You really have helped me. I have never thought like I do now about the process of a sale in
Yeah.
this marketplace. Never, ever. I'm not kidding. I always led by my great personality. I was always like, I can get along with anybody. I can talk to anybody. Well, yeah, you talk too much, Terry. Everyone who knows me will say that. So I've learned I have to put duct tape on my mouth, or just shut up, or I'll eat something and just put a cough drop in my mouth. Stop
That's a
talking,
good
stop
thing.
talking. Listen, 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 because this is
Yeah.
what you have taught. And I haven't really fully implemented it. I'm looking forward to it because it's a direct result of when you get this amazing return on your time, on your investment, is because you've learned to not be a know-it-all. Let yourself be a beginner. And I decided that when I came to work with you. I said, I'm going to be a beginner. I'm going to think like a beginner.
Mhm.
I'm not going to come in here like, oh, I know this stuff. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me nothing. No, no. I wanted to learn from you, and I still do. And that's one of the, if people are thinking about where to go, I hate to be so bold, but I'm going to say, if you don't come here and you don't make it here, you pretty much can't make it anyplace.
I
Sorry.
think that's a theme,
Sorry.
from what we've heard, because I was just talking to another leader at another company this morning that
Mm,
people are so resistant, and you have to be able to check your ego at the door. You have to be open-minded to the possibility that there is maybe another way, or possibly even a better way to
yes.
approach the final expense sale, so that you get more people to not just buy, but what did we talk about in training a couple days ago, to get them to change their situation.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole other way
So
of
good.
being able to help someone. And God, as soon as we had that
Yeah.
training on Wednesday where we reviewed your call, all of a sudden we're like, Terry, like, look at all these sales pop. I had people reaching out to me like, can you post one of Terry's calls in our agent resource center? And it was
Oh,
just
goodness.
replacement after replacement. And we don't do a lot of replacements,
I
but
know.
which is strange.
Yeah. Isn't that
But yeah,
crazy?
you just really just got a big string of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's because of
but
you.
for
It is.
that,
I mean,
but it's just about rechecking in,
and
right? And
listening. Yes.
re-engaging and reminding yourself when you fall off
True.
course that you have to course correct. And normally
Totally.
what I find when I'm coaching agents is that, especially you're like the perfect textbook case for this, because you came in so strong out of the gate. And what were you
Mhm.
doing? Following the script,
Yes.
right? To a T,
Exactly.
because you have so much coming at you at once. You have, the new management, new
True.
systems, new
True.
e-app, new tele app, new company, right? You've never sold what
True.
we offer before. And then you have this 26-page script. It's not that long, but it's pretty long. And so you really kind of feel like, well, I just better follow this.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Yes, I
And
did.
that's when people usually start off really well. And then you start to get comfortable.
Hmm.
And then the script becomes less and less of a focal point, and you become more casual with your
Right.
conversation, and you forget the strategy
Very true.
behind why we're trying to sell. So knowing that I want you guys to constantly be checking in and listening to calls, and reminding yourself, like, that's why this happens.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Absolutely.
there's no such thing as a sales slump. The sales slumps are a result of something that you did
Mhm.
to cause different results. And I think we were able to identify at least some of that, a
Yeah.
couple of years ago.
You're
And
so good at that.
all of a
Just
sudden, there's
tweak,
Terry
tweak.
again.
Yeah. And that's what I would say too to anyone thinking, about this. It's really worth the jump, because if the worst case, you're going to find out where your weaknesses are, and you're going to get a chance to really get evaluated, not harshly. I mean, this isn't like, you know, difficult. It's something that just really helps you to really realize how much you can do, how good you can get, how I mean, I'm believing it. For me, it's been a long career in this business, but I haven't really met the higher goals I have because I've
Yeah.
been distracted, family and this and that. This job is, you show up. Like we talked about, you have to show up. And when you don't, you wish you did.
Now let's just flip it to the other side of the coin. What are some things about the team and the day-to-day that maybe you wish were a little bit different or easier?
Well, probably the part of us as human beings where we just don't want to sit that long.
Mm.
You know, I think you got to get your own groove and have a strategy, which is start every day. I tried like mad, start the same time every day,
Mhm.
set the goal just to be here until you're done. 6:30 is when I finish. I just do.
Yeah.
And am I in and out of it a little bit too much sometimes? Yes. And you get to watch that too. You can see how much you've been up and down.
Right.
But that's the hardest part. So you got to figure out your groove. I mean, I know how to sit now. I bring my food, my water, my snacks, um, you know, just things that will keep you,
Focus.
here, because it's not a bad job, guys. Imagine what people have to do to work today. I mean, I had an epiphany about it when this situation happened in our country recently. And I just felt like, we don't realize how blessed we are with this
Mhm.
job, with this kind of a career. So blessed. People wish they had what we have: remote, uncapped earning,
Mhm.
people who are loving and kind and supportive. This is um, not normal. I mean, we really get to go to work in our house, in our homes. I mean, I have an office in my house, for crying out loud. How hard is this?
Now, add assurance, just out of curiosity, because I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but you know how we have a a team that proactively calls clients
Yeah,
to reach out to them, welcome them, congratulate them for their
true.
policy,
Yeah,
as well as the back end retention. Like we help call NTOs and chargebacks for you on your behalf. Did you have that before?
amazing. Not to
Or
my knowledge. I mean, somebody might challenge me on that, but I don't really remember hearing much about that. Um, it was very similar, everything except, um, probably the only real difference that I've found is that here I feel like I'm a part of a family. I feel like I'm a part of a company and a people who are really visionaries, which I think you and Adam are. And I don't know, for me, that means a lot because I don't feel, even if I have a bad month, I'm like, I still participated in the vision. I still showed up. I
yeah.
wanted to, I wanted to make it happen. And I'll check myself because I do want to be more contributory. I have things I want to do with my money, people I want to help, and,
Yeah.
causes I want to contribute to. But I will just say the experience here has been aligned with my core values. You guys are like my people. You think like I do. You're kind, and I see the generosity. I believe you do anything to help somebody be victorious here, to win, and really discover that they are better than they ever even knew. It's just
We
because
see
it comes out of the
people,
education.
we see people constantly posting 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 sales in a day.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
we also, of course, see people putting in the hours that aren't posting sales. So, from an agent's point of view, why do you think agents fail here?
Here,
Mhm.
can I tell the truth?
Yeah.
I think it's the grass is always greener syndrome.
Hmm.
I think that they want what they want. It's you've got to be a person who it believes in a team and believes in the power and the strength of, uh, people who are willing to sacrifice a little bit for each other sometimes. I mean, it's not going to always be about you. This is my life mantra, though. This isn't just about working here, but if
Right.
you want it to be about you and you want to be the big shot and you want to be the one that everybody knows and all this kind of, it's all about your fame. Um, that's why I think people don't make it.
Interesting.
I
That's an
I
interesting
think they
one.
want to. I think they want to go somewhere where they can be that person. And that's probably a different in way of, I don't know. There's a different kind of insurance you can do for that. Um, I just think they don't want to work the hours sometimes too. There's some people that just don't want to and maybe don't need to. Maybe they've got other support or other income. But you have to, if don't come here, I've told Dana this earlier, don't come here if you don't want to work.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
not a
I mean,
part-time job.
that is the thing. That's why we don't really like to bring on part-time agents. Because even full-time agents, we say, you know, our definition of a full-time agent is 40 to 50 hours a week. We already know that means that you're going to work 20 to 30 hours a week. We bring on part-time agents that say they're going to work 20 hours a week. We know that means 10 hours a week, you know?
Oh.
And so,
Oh, no.
learning curve is so much longer for someone that's not putting in that time and getting that repetition
Totally.
day in and day out. I
Totally.
would say that the agents that are putting in the most amount of time, that show up consistently day in and day out, the average income earnings on this team is somewhere between 5 to 10,000 a month. We have a couple of outliers that are above that,
Yeah.
that just have a crazy conversion rate, and you know,
Mhm.
that's always going to happen. But I would say if that's the type of income that you're looking for, to not have to worry about anything,
Yeah.
but
Nothing.
just plug in and show up, then, you know, that's a heck of a job.
It's absolutely, I agree with you. You know, I think this place here at Tailored is actually a place where you're going to be awakened to things about this business that you never really ever had to confront or look at closely, including mostly the education piece. That
Mhm.
script is unbelievable. I mean, it is like if you skip something, you realize when you're done with the call and they say they want to think about it, you're like, I didn't follow the script today. I know I didn't, and I need to go. And you can't hurry up and figure it out and go back. Sometimes
Right. You're like, wait, can we just go back to minute
yeah,
12?
exactly. I actually called the guy this morning, to be honest with you, because of something I didn't do on the script with him. And I called to apologize and
Oh,
ask him if we could meet up again. And he said, yeah, because there was some stuff I didn't cover well. And he said, he goes, okay, now I'll give you another chance. I'm like, it's just, it's just, it's sales, right? We still have the best job in the world.
I
I'm
think so.
sorry. There's nothing like sales and nothing like insurance sales here with Dana.
Well, we appreciate you, Terry. We appreciate the positive energy that you bring to the team, especially on our sales meetings. You always have something positive that you want to share. We love your smiling face and the relationship that you have with all the agents and the managers. And I just can't wait to see your continued growth and success here over time.
Well, we're going to interview in a year and see.
Oh, deal. Thank you, Terry, so much.
Okay, you're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you.